Hey, it's Troy, Art Studio Weekly. Thanks for joining. Since I saw you last, I've been on like just a crushing roll. Like I've probably done maybe 30 works, acrylic works on paper. You got to see these because some of these are for an art show that I mentioned last week at the Record Box here in Michigan. And it was going so well. I did that. Let's see, there's 3, 5, 7, 9 of those, and they're in sets, like 3 sets of 2, and then 1 set of 3. And then I liked them so much, like the process, that I was like, I got to keep going with this. So I made another probably 20 works or so, and I'm gonna put half of those on my website. This is where you are.com, and then the other half on eBay. I think maybe Shopify. I've been thinking about doing something because I think these works are worthy of your look. Maybe what happened was that I just decided to embrace minimalism completely. Like I went hardcore in the other direction, and so I started. I'll show you some pictures while I'm talking here. These 3. And I'm only going to show a glimpse of some of these because some of them are going to be in this art show in late August, early September, and I don't want to give everything away. But the ones that are going to be on the website, I'll go ahead and show you. But the first 9 that I created were for the show because I had the space in mind, so I want to keep those mostly hidden. But the first 3 that I came up with before this whole snowball landslide, not landslide in the Stevie Nicks sense, but landslide in the good sense. These 3 kicked off that whole thing, and if you're looking at it, you can see, like it's just 3 layers, and I got to tell you, this is all because of the paint color Titan Buff, which I found at a paint store here. Oh, it's so perfect because it's allowed me to get the layers that I wanted, that I've always kind of been looking for, and it's hard to mix for certain colors. I know that you're supposed to be able to, and you're supposed to be able to mix your own colors, but and I can, but it saves so much time because I don't know how much I'm going to use to find something, and this color made it possible to have like a darker color underneath, and then the Titan Buff, and then like the titanium white over top, because what you can see through it. I mean, these paints aren't cheap, folks, and you got to get it right if you're me, because I'm not Bill Gates over here, or Bezos. Is it Bezos? I'm just kidding. I know it's Bezos. Anyway, I did these 3 layers, and I just had like this system for getting like these lines, almost like rows of streaks and brush strokes. Almost, it's not really brush strokes, but kind of. And when I got that, I immediately thought, okay, I like this just as it is. It just needs this little tiny mwah, and you know what's coming. It's that dot. But I thought, look, what should I do? Should I make another shape and then the dot, or should I do? And sometimes for some of these pieces I did, but if you just look at those pieces, I just want the simplicity of it. I love the idea of ambiguity. I did a podcast episode on the Lighthouse this week, and I talked about ambiguity and something that an artist said on Tate Modern. She said that we always kind of want to know what things are about. And she had made a painting that was similar to Ad Reinhardt's Black painting series. And she said that her works were kind of based on this idea that we can't really know the nature of reality, but we always want to know. And so her works are kind of a protest against knowing. And that stuck with me. And I had already started making these works when I found that quote, but it was around the time of the beginning, and I thought, let's just fucking go with it because this is working. And then I moved to other works, and now I'll show you some of the other works that I'm going to put on the website in the next few days. And if you like, they're there. It's a tough economy, I know, but you got to support the arts. And I just started taking so many chances this week. by taking chances in the sense that I'm keeping things simple. And then like for these, I had like the sort of the dot, but then the little layer underneath of like the different shapes that would just sort of barely trickle through the top layer of the stroke pattern. And I had the idea to just sort of start scraping it with pencil, to give it like this dirty look. To me, it was like it really kind of changed everything, because I feel like I didn't have to do everything just with a brush. I was able to use other tools and to get patterns going to where felt like I could repeat what I was doing consistently. And I've done 30 of these. And although the sets are slightly different, like some of the sets like just have like a kind of a bright color stick through with sort of a covering, like like it's inside a cloud. So those don't have any pencil marks with a dot. So I wanted to change it up a little bit, but for the most part, I was able to duplicate all of these, the sort of the rhythm guitar, the Malcolm Young setup. Just have to look that up, AC/DC, if you don't know. By the way, saw AC/DC once in Indianapolis in the late 90s. Ooh, my. Whew. Angus Young was the most impressive thing. Like, I love Malcolm Young. Angus Young is great, obviously. They're all great. But Malcolm Young just sat back there and just hammered out the rhythm guitar the whole time. I thought, like, yeah. He stood by the drums. He and the bassist, they were kind of like 5 feet apart. I'm digressing, I know, but Malcolm Young just sat there and just hammered out the rhythm. And it never occurred to me how great the rhythm guitar is in AC/DC until I saw that concert. Anyway, whatever. But the support network is what I'm trying to say, to set up for the very, very vague gesture, the small gesture, the very, I hate to keep using the word minimalist, but that's all I can think of, like this minimal gesture on top. It pulls the whole thing, in my opinion, into this space where you have the ability to project whatever you want onto it or take whatever you want from it. And I like that, because I think I can honestly say that if I finish something, it doesn't matter if it's sounds or paintings or video or whatever, I know when I like something. I know when I feel like I've got something that's interesting to me. I don't know, maybe nobody else will find this interesting, but I'm really excited about it, so I wanted to share. By the way, this podcast, it is me just sort of talking in the studio. Like at some point I would imagine I'm going to go to other people's studios and talk with artists. It's hard to get people on a schedule, and I don't just want to throw up like a Zoom conversation unless I have an idea for something. So I don't mean for this to be like some sort of like Troy's vomit idea diary where I'm just talking about myself. I don't mean to be falling in love with my reflection in the pool of water over here. I'm just turning on the camera and talking about things, and this is what's been going on. And I'm going to put these works up online, and if you're in Michigan, you want to come to the Record Box, you should come. It'll be late April, late August, early September. But that's what I've been doing. So let me know what you think. It's going to be hard to see. I'll try and make these pictures when I put them up after this as close up as I can. It might be hard to see the detail. You might have to zoom in, but you'll see the lines that are there with every layer, not just the top layer, like every layer. So you've got these different cross patterns, almost like a really complex peanut butter cookie, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what I've been doing this week. Thisiswhereyouare.com. You can follow me at TroyStonD. Somebody once said to me, is it Troy Stoned? That's not what I was intending, but it might be accurate. And then I'm going to put something up on eBay too, just because I want to try different things. I mean, this is the future, man. You got to be able to survive on your own. I don't know. I'm glad I was already kind of getting some traction here, because to think about starting over would have been daunting during this quarantine and everything. And, I'm glad I've already got some movement going, because I'm just trying to think of every avenue that I can. I've been thinking about taking really good pictures of these paintings and putting them on shirts, or putting them on mugs, which sounds kind of cheesy. But then I thought, well, if I sold a bunch of stuff, then the actual works themselves might be worth more. Now I'm getting into the cheesy realm. But anyway, you just try to think of things to survive. You got to do what you got to do to survive, right? This is some people back in the 1500s turned tricks. This is me turning tricks in a way. It doesn't mean I don't love what I'm doing. I'm not trying to say that I'm willing to sell things down the river and put it on a box of Fruitios or something like that. But you gotta make money too. And as long as I'm doing things that I like, that's all that I care about. How I spit it out into the world, projectile ideas into the void, whatever. All right, so that's all I've got this week. I will see you next time, and let me know what you think. All right, till next time.